Just acquired this 45 record called Oink Is For Pigs. It's on the Oink record label. I can't find anything on eBay on this record, so I'm going to take a video of it and you can hear it.
Hello, my name is Norman Rose, and I'm going to read you a story called Oinks Are For Pigs, written by Cherney Berg and illustrated by Steve Darius. While I'm reading, you look at your book and listen. Now let's open our books and begin. Once there was a pig. He liked to walk in the mud. He also liked to talk. When he walked, he sloshed. And when he talked, he oinked. One day, while walking and sloshing and talking and oinking and not watching where he was going, he lost himself in the deep woods. He called for help. He yelled, "Oink!" It was the loudest oink in the world. It was so loud that it floated right out of the woods. But nobody heard and nobody came. All the pig could see were his own footprints. So, being a smart pig, he followed his own footprints back to where he came from. Then he was found. But he had lost his oink somewhere. This was a serious matter, because somewhere in the world there was a loose oink floating around, and that was very bad, because it got into all kinds of things. The water in the bathtub didn't go splash. It went oink. And who wants to take a bath in oinky water? Daddies tried to say, "Go to bed," but all that came out was oink. And nobody knew what that meant. Bells went oink instead of ding. Dogs said oink instead of woof. Television sets played Captain Oink. An army general commanded his troops, "Forward, oink!" And a policeman held up his hand and called out, "Oink!" It was terribly confusing. Something had to be done. But what? First, all the grown-ups had a meeting, because that's what grown-ups do. They all knew the oink had to be caught, because everybody has to have his or her own words, and everything has to have its own sound. Besides, the pig was very sad. He knew oinks were for pigs, and everybody was using his. The trouble was that everybody tried to talk about what to do, but all they could say was oink. The only one who didn't talk was the pig, because he couldn't. Now, if you'll turn the record over, I'll continue our story.
Alright, we can do that. Just give me a second. Side 2 of the Oink Is For Pigs. There we go.
Here's the second part of our story. Remember to look and listen. They drew pictures of what they thought had to be done. The mayor drew a sign that said, "No oinking allowed." The detectives drew the oink in prison. The teacher drew it in school. An engineer drew an oink catcher, and everybody nodded their heads to show they agreed. So an oink catcher was built. But oinks are hard to catch. They're very slippery. So slippery that when the oink finally was caught, it fell out of the machine and broke. An oink is hard to put together again. First it sounded like this. Kneo. Then like this. Nico. And then like this. Neok. And finally, oink. Now that the oink was caught and put together, everybody could talk. So they told the pig that this was his own oink, and he was very happy. They gave it back to him, and they tied it tightly to his tail so he would never lose it again. And he hasn't. And nobody in the whole world says oink anymore, because oinks are for pigs. Only.
Interesting. Just 1 second, I'll show you the label of this record. I've never seen an oink label. So, there we go, side 1 here. There it is, Oink pig label. Let's turn it over. There you go. No pig, but there's yoink right there. So there you have it. Rare 45.